Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Badass Business Builders. I am your host and the founder of this group, Joella Orderino, and thank you so much for tuning in today. So today's topic, why you keep having low profitability in your business. So penny pinching is a real thing and always pays dividends, especially when you apply this idea to your business. When you consider how you make your money through your business, it's important to look at all of these small increments of hard and soft costs that go into creating that product or service, because this is where the money is made. If you don't manage these small holes that are leaking pennies from your business, over time, these leaks turn into thousands of dollars that should be in your pocket. Now, if you're aware of these leaks, you can address what might seem like small stuff and truly maximize your profitability. So in this episode, I get into the most common leaks in a business and what you can do to plug the holes that are draining your business. So here are some of the most common business leaks that I see. The first one is not knowing your true cost of goods or cost to render your service. Now, this is one of the biggest leaks because what goes into the creation of your offer, it might appear to be tiny, but these tiny increments over time, multiplied by the number of products sold or services rendered, leads to big losses at the end of the year. So, if your business is focused on selling a product, then your focus should be on minimizing every single expense that goes into the production of that one unit. And be sure you know how much labor goes into that product as well. Now, the labor thing is like a sneaky leaker because you really, as an entrepreneur, it's sometimes very hard to estimate your time or to even, count your time. And you're not the only one touching your product or service potentially. You might have other team members. So you really want to come to a price for your product based on all of the hands it touches, all of the departments it might navigate through, and also the per unit cost. So be sure to break that down. I learned this lesson the hard way. So I had a restaurant in 2004 near Wall Street. And it was very focused on breakfast and lunch. We were waiting on our liquor license, so that was in the works. Now, we loved cooking. We loved providing food to the neighborhood, and we became very popular because we would pile on the food. People loved our Latin bistro, and my business partner was like just loading the Spanish steaks on. So it was great. We had a lot of repeat customers, but my ignorance at the time, I didn't realize that, our food was our moneymaker. We weren't making money on the nice smile that I carried every day or how many times people came through the door. No, it was all about really maximizing the moneymaker, which is the food. So if I'm giving away food, I'm basically giving away free money, right? So, we were never profitable with this strategy. And in less than 8 months, unfortunately, I have a little something caught here. Thank you. And so within 8 months, we really saw that the time was drawing near. Not a good position to be in. So years later, I look back and I realize where the fault was, especially as I'm working with a lot of entrepreneurs that have these small products or a product where a lot of quality ingredients go into that. So you really have to consider every single item so that you are maximizing your profitability for that unit. Now, if your business is focused on selling a service, then your focus should be on knowing the actual amount of time that goes into serving that client and then charging the price based on the outcome they receive, not the hourly fee that you put in. And also consider Are you the only team member providing the service? Do you need other team members involved? That's where you get your base number, your base cost. But I really encourage you, if you're providing a service such as consulting or coaching, consider the end goal for that client, that major transformation that they actually experience, because that is really what they're paying for, this transformation. So back in the agency, I used to work in advertising here in New York City, and I would work on all these proposals and the strategies that went into them, and we had to price out every single project, and we would do this based on hours that went into it and our hourly rate, and that's basically how we got to the cost per project. And fast forward now, and I see that that was actually a very tricky way to make money in that industry or agency. And the reason being is because now I see that we really were cutting our profitability short. You know, at the end, our clients were experiencing major growth in revenue. I worked in financial services marketing, so major increase in assets under management based on strategies that we were deploying. So really the right strategy there would have been to, okay, our goal is to bring in, $200 million in new assets under management for this product, this retirement product, let's say. So what is that worth to that financial firm, right? That is how we should have priced the project. So you live and you learn, but don't want to shortchange yourself there, right? And the other thing too is when you don't know the costs that go into producing a product or the services rendered, 9 times out of 10, you're not charging enough. So your profitability gets squeezed. So in addition to all these leaks that you might have because you're spending or not really managing the per unit cost that goes into the product making, now, you're not really understanding, all of the components that go into the price, so that you're not charging enough and you're shortchanging your profitability. And here's another trick that you could deploy to really help you measure and gauge where you are from day to day within your month. I really like to understand my break-even point in my business or in any one of my clients' businesses. I always would like to see, what are our monthly average expenses and how many units do I need to sell to actually cover those expenses? How many services do I need to render to cover all of those business expenses? So that's your break-even point, and that really helps you see where you might be able to scale back in your general expenses, which is another area for leakage, right? So the costs that go into a product, that's one leakage, and the overall expenses in managing and operating your business, this is a huge area for leakage, right? Now, another way to really maximize profitability, or, a common leak that I see pretty frequently, is this overspending. Now, this is a little tricky one because I am of the mindset that I would rather pay a price for the best service and the right talent. Good people are hard to find. So it's really important to spend money where it's really necessary, such as quality team members. And you're actually spending more money if you hire someone that is like subpar to the qualifications that you're looking for, and they, are maybe, $5 cheaper per hour. Well, in the long run, you're always going to lose there. So it's always wise to spend the right dollar amount on quality team members. Now, the big leak here in overspending is what I see is many business owners have like all these tools, apps, technologies, subscriptions, and these end up becoming very wasteful. Now, think about the last time you might have bought like an ebook, maybe it was like $10 or $7, whatever that price was. That's still leakage. And then ask yourself, did you actually review that ebook? Did you gain the insight that you were seeking? 9 times out of 10, it's a no. You actually didn't read the thing that you paid for, or maybe you skimmed through it and you were like, oh, it's not worth my time. These are areas of leakage. So I really encourage you to, consider one widget or app is not going to solve your problem. There is no way to shortcut the process of innovation, the process of evolution. And it's better to deploy a strategy around the problem you are experiencing first before you start throwing technology and solutions that are paid to fix that problem. And another really big challenge where overspending creeps in is that I tend to see many companies have they have all these technologies in place, and let's just use like Entreport, for example. So maybe a company is leveraging Entreport as their CRM, and they have like an outside website that's on WordPress. Then they're using Mail SurveyMonkey for surveys, Typeform for other things. So you see, there's already duplication in the capacity of these technologies, right? So the way to avoid this is you really want to understand your technology before you get sold into another solution. Because I'm telling you, 80% of my clients have technology that offer duplicated or redundant solutions. So it's best to really work with a professional that knows how to maximize this technology for you, and they actually set it up based on your use case, and then get trained specifically on your technology, and just maybe have them as a support. But you really want to get trained on your technology these days, because again, another area for overspending. So when you have a problem and you're like, oh, I just need that new AI copywriting bot, or maybe I need to get SEMrush so I could really do a better backlinking strategy. Whatever it is, don't automatically go to the solution. Instead, focus on really understanding the real issue of your problem. And then outline and map out a plan, the steps that you will take to solve this challenge. Without the influence of other technologies or marketing or whatever, you be the solution. Then deploy a little test. See if you could actually use your existing technologies to solve that problem. And then, you'll save yourself the added expense. And over time, you'll see, is this working? Is this not? Is this working the way I want it? Is it providing the best customer experience? If you're not happy with it, that's the time to consider maybe another solution. But I highly encourage you to really understand the full breadth of your technology and utilize that to its maximum capacity. And then once you know its full breadth, you could add other solutions. Okay? Now, the last one that I want to talk about today is something based on our current environment, and that is, have you considered increasing your prices recently? And the reason why I ask this question is, have you noticed inflation right now? How this is affecting possibly how you produce your product or how you render your service? Have you noticed how everything is increasing? So today I looked up inflation, just wanted to get a sense for what we're dealing with. And the inflation rate right now is 7.9%. This is very unusual when you look at historical data. For example, the last 10 years of inflation, it's been hovering around like 2.5%. The years before that was a little higher. It was averaging around 4.2% over the course of 10 years before. But now it's 7.9% and climbing. I don't recall a time in history where inflation was this high. I mean, maybe the cost of doing business over time has increased because, we make more money and that's the gist. But really, inflation right now is driving product costs and services to a whole new level. So I ask you, does your gross revenue cover this difference? Does the price to your customer account for the increase in the cost that you are basically, absorbing? It's really wise right now to take a hard look at your expenses and see what was your Q1 in 2021 like, and compare that to your soon to be ending Q1 in 2022. See if you can identify the costs that have increased. Is it just across the board, everything has increased by a percentage? Or are there very specific things, like the hard costs that go into your product, or maybe the manpower within your team, they really deserve, an increase, a raise. So after you see this rate of increase between your Q1 last year and Q1 this year, that will give you some indication on what percentage you should be increasing your prices. And, I don't like paying higher prices, but at the end of the day, we have businesses to run. And, it's really important for you to cover your costs and not have to spend on every customer that you engage with. So this is a good opportunity right now to really consider what your new price structure should be. And it's time, guys. It's the time to look at this, because it's not going to decrease anytime soon just based on economical reports that I'm reading and stuff. And of course, after you do this analysis, how was your Q1 last year versus how was your Q1 this year? Before you dive right into the increase, I really encourage you to go back to the very first suggestion, which is to really understand what is exactly the true cost of goods right now going into every unit and into every service that you provide. Okay? So now, what is the most cost-efficient way to increase your profitability? Well, that's easy. You want to work with a mentor or coach. And this is where I come in. I got to tell you guys, the best investment I have made into my own company, which has paid dividends, is to work with my business coach. I have more than one. Ideally, you find someone who has walked your path before and is reaping the success you desire. It's very hard to see what you don't see or see what you don't know. And when you work with a professional, or someone who's actually been down that path, it's way easier, much faster to see sort of the hurdles in your way and to course correct very quickly. So guys, book a call with me. Go to businessesonpurpose.com/talk. And when you get to that page, you'll see my calendar of all the available slots. Just pick the one that's right for you. And then you'll be taken to a very quick application page. And then from there, I will call you at the time that you select. And guys, it's time. It's really time to analyze your business in a different way through a lens where, I have seen many, many businesses. I have launched over 200 products and services in my career. So I know what it takes at this point, and especially with all the new elements right now, the new environment, everything increasing, we have to really get good at managing these small leaks. We think they're small, but again, in time, they really add up, and that money should really go into your pocket. Okay, so thank you so much for this time. I'm so thankful that you tuned in today, and well, until next time, see you then.